Okay, so this video is for the introductory or introduction paragraph station. So this is the first task that you should complete while at this station. So we're just going to talk about what we're looking for and how to revise in a introduction paragraph of an argumentative essay. So remember that we want to think of our introduction paragraph as a movie trailer. So much like a movie trailer, your introduction paragraph is meant to hook your viewers, or in this case, your readers. So as a movie producer, you create a movie trailer in order to get people to come and watch your movie. As a writer, you want to write an introduction paragraph that is going to hook your reader. So in that case, or in this case, your reader is myself. But you want to make sure that I want to keep reading. You want me to be invested in your argument or to care. So think of your introduction paragraph as a movie trailer. So the three pieces and parts that I'm looking for in this introduction paragraph is a hook. Then you are using a bridge that leads us to a thesis. So we're going to take a look at those pieces and parts in an example paragraph that has a hook, a bridge, and a thesis. So we have a hook that is a short anecdote or a story. So we have, on a cold October day, an explosion is heard. It echoes on and on as if it were beckoning for help. Then suddenly all is still, and the earth shudders in an interminable silence of total decimation as the nuclear blast is finished. Nuclear obliteration, like what we have just imagined, stands next to us at every political turning point unless world solutions are reached. In order for the threat of nuclear war to be lessened, we must cease nuclear testing and find a realistic way to police arms agreement. So, we want to start our introduction paragraph with a hook. And you've heard me say this over and over again. A hook is meant to grab the audience's attention. So you could use a question or a quote, or as we did in this example paragraph, a short anecdote or personal story. So this hook is meant to be vivid or create an image in the reader's mind, set the scene, something that you can see, something that you can hear. This story kind of creates a sense of mystery or panic as to what the explosion is, or if people are in danger. So I've highlighted the hook in gold. Notice that the hook is more than one sentence long. It's actually 3. So that is also something we want to consider as we continue the revision process. So for our rough draft, it was okay to have a hook that was only 1 sentence long, but for our final draft, we really want to think about elaborating on what we've already written, and we want to try to write a hook that is longer than 1 sentence. I want to look for a well-developed introduction paragraph and a well-developed essay as a whole. So, tips on how to make a strong hook. You want to make this topic and your argument relevant in today's world, in 2019. So for our sophomores, your essential question for this essay was, what can we do to improve society? And for our seniors, your essential question was, how do we evaluate what's right or wrong? So those topics, those questions, there's a reason I chose them for our classes, right? They have to have some sort of relevance in today's world, otherwise I wouldn't have used them in class. So your hooks and your bridge is where you're giving us an entry point into your thesis, into your argument. How does this topic relate to us? So you want to make your essay stand out. Like I said, I'm reading multiple essays on the same topic. I don't want to read the same hooks, same bridges, same thesis statements over and over. So a hook is a really great place to make your essay unique. So like we said, you can start out with a question. You do want to be careful with questions. As sophomores, juniors, and seniors, we should probably be writing questions that have more than just a yes or no answer. So you want to create a question that's more complicated or is not just a black and white issue. So there's some gray area where someone could argue. You could also use a quote about the topic. So using your research skills. So you could use a quote from a president or from a politician or even a celebrity, someone that has authority in this topic or in your argument. So you will have to use some of your research skills that we talked about at the beginning of the year, finding a credible source. But just make sure that the quote, if you choose to use a quote as a hook, make sure that that quote is relevant and is a strong choice for your topic or your argument. You could also use a startling fact or statistic as a hook. And again, you want to make sure that that's has a strong connection to your topic. One thing that I thought about was you could do a statistic about hate crimes throughout history or in today's world, in today's climate. That has a direct relation to the sophomores question, what can we do to improve society? It would obviously be a darker tone at the beginning of your essay, but if it fits with your topic, with your argument, it might be an interesting and startling and urgent way to start your essay. So after your hook, you're leading us to your bridge, which should be 2 sentences that connects your hook to your thesis statement. So again, in the example paragraph, I've highlighted your hook in gold, which led us to our bridge that's in the light purplish pink color. So our bridge is nuclear obliteration, like what we have just imagined, stands next to us at every political turning point unless world solutions are reached. So this bridge is what's giving us context for what's coming later. So at first it was just an explosion in the hook, right? We didn't really know what it was, until maybe the end of the hook. But we could have been writing anything or about anything in our essay. But our bridge is really giving us context that this argumentative essay is going to be about politics and about how we handle nuclear weapons, what we should do, what we should not do, and how we relate to our neighbors around the world. So something political in nature with nuclear weapons. So our bridge, I believe, is the most difficult part of our introduction paragraph, but it may be the most important part of our introduction paragraph. I want you to think of your bridge as an anchor because it makes your topic and your thesis or your argument relevant. So you want your bridge to be at least 2 sentences, and that is leading us to our thesis statement, which is our premise. Your thesis answers the prompt and the question, and in your thesis statement, you must take a stance. So in the example paragraph, I highlighted the thesis statement in green. In order for the threat of nuclear war to be lessened, we must cease nuclear testing and find a realistic way to police arms agreement. So the second half of that thesis statement, we must cease nuclear testing, someone could disagree with that, right? They could write an essay that opposes that said we should never cease nuclear testing or we should never stop nuclear testing and we should not find an agreement. Okay, so this writer has taken a stance, said what needs to happen in order to solve a problem, and we can assume that in their body paragraphs they're going to argue ways that we should stop nuclear testing or reasons why we should stop nuclear testing. So these are just examples of thesis statements that you guys have been working on or submitted from our sophomores. So we want to just try to eliminate words like we can't, or I'm sorry, words like we, I, you. It's just informal, so we want to use more formal language in our writing. So on the right-hand side, you can see ways that I changed that. So instead of saying we can't improve society because, I just changed that to society cannot be improved because. And at the bottom, I just try to show a example of parallel structure. So you can see we have eliminating, understanding, and not discriminating. So this is an example of a time where we need to use parallel structure and we're not. So we have a list with 3 items: eliminating bias, number 1; understanding stereotypes, number 2; not discriminating people, 3. Okay? So the word not is kind of breaking us up because we have 3 words with ing, and almost all of them are the first words in the list item, except not discriminating. So on the right, you can see how I fixed it. I put an ing word at the front of that list item. So now we have eliminating, understanding, and refraining. Okay. I can talk to you guys more one-on-one when you meet with me about parallel structure. It's just something I wanted to mention. We want to make a thesis that is worth our time. So lastly is the rubric that you're being graded on and that you will be graded on throughout the year. You want a strongly maintained thesis statement with little or no loosely related material, skillful use of a variety of transitional strategies to clarify the relationships between and among ideas, logical progression of ideas from beginning to end with a satisfying introduction and conclusion, appropriate style and tone established and maintained. So this is the purpose, focus, and organization category of your rubric, and this particular category or scenario is worth 4 points. So this is what a 4-point score is looking for. The response is fully sustained and consistently focused within the purpose, audience, and task, and it has a clear thesis statement and effective organizational structure, creating coherence and completeness. So this is what you are trying to accomplish throughout your essay, but your introduction paragraph is really important in setting the tone for an organized and clear argumentative essay.